Artificial intelligence. It is woven into our everyday lives. It helps decide what we watch, what we buy, even how students learn and do their homework. Kids today are growing up with AI that can answer questions, write essays, even create imaginary friends that seem almost real. Developers say AI can help kids with communication, creativity. On the other side, though, we have seen a list of growing lawsuits from families claiming AI has caused their children harm, and in some cases led to death by suicide. So what does it all mean for the next generation? Joining us to kick off Artificial Impact, a new segment we're introducing tonight on King 5 News at 5, is Angelina Pei-Tzu Tsai, a clinical scientist and psychologist from the Bright Center at the University of Washington School of Medicine. Thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Joyce.
So I want to launch into just the basics of AI. How should we think of artificial intelligence and how it is woven into our everyday life?
Great questions, and I think this is also a very timely questions at this point of life. I think I'm gonna speak from the perspective of a clinical psychologist and scientists focused on digital mental health and AI front. I think how I would like to think of AI is it is a very powerful tool. And one analogy I like to use, and definitely not a perfect analogy, and given our primary audience is parent today, the analogy I like to use is that you can think of this powerful tool like a kitchen knife. Okay, and definitely this sounds like no take at all, but this is a concrete analogy I think parents can associate with, that when this powerful tool is being used in a way that is under guidance, supervision with care, and being used as it intends to be, there's a chance that it could be very useful. But on the other hand, if it is being used in a way that is like no supervisions, not being used in the way as it intends to be, then it's very much likely to cause harm.
And when it comes to kids and learning, from a psychological standpoint, how might these tools change the way kids learn, how they develop critical thinking skills, which are so important?
Yeah, Joyce, I love these insightful questions. And I think back to the perspective of brain development and psychosocial development, I think when we are thinking of these questions, one key to think of is what does kids need in terms of their developmental stage, and how does AI play into a role into this? And when I think of like teenagers' brain, the analogy I like to use is like a sports car. And different part of our brain matures at different speed. So teenagers' brain is like a sports car with a very strong accelerator, okay? And underdeveloped brakes. So what does that mean? The accelerator is the limbic system that is associated with social acceptance, emotion validation, emotion sensitivity. That is a part that makes teenager gravitated toward novelty, instant gratification. Okay, so that's the accelerator. On the other hand, the brakes, by brakes I mean executive functioning. Right, the critical thinking, the part of the brain that could ask us to like wait, pause, evaluate, inhibitory control, think of evaluate risk, thinking about the long-term benefit or consequence. And so back to the brain development again, this is a stage of the time that the part of the accelerator is very strong already and the brakes are underdeveloped. Yeah, so this normal mismatch, then I think that parents should always keep in their mind that when there's an AI chatbot that's very much tap into the emotion validation, this could hit teenagers' brain really hard and make it particularly sticky for teenagers.
So to your point, they sort of jump into this AI, but the brakes don't necessarily work.
Yeah, the brakes, they're under development. And I think this is the part that parents, like if you are aware of it, how do you help them develop the brake or even use AI to develop the brake, then that would be the key.
We're going to get to that in a moment because we want to show our viewers something. So AI, it simulates human intelligence. It can answer and generate questions. It automates tasks. It even holds full conversations, but just how real can those interactions feel? We wanted to see for ourselves, so I sat down with one of my colleagues, a producer, Blaine Davison, who's also the mother of a teenager, to see just how convincing this new technology can be.
We could be more than friends.
Oh. Good. It's coming back to you.
It started simply.
Oh my.
But quickly, things got complicated.
Shane notices you from across the rink. He's curious and continues to watch. Wait, we haven't even...
Blaine is a King 5 producer and a mother.
Okay, this is right off the bat so suggestive.
Wendy stares.
This is her first experience using a chatbot.
Who are you?
In this case, character AI.
What do you mean about?
After a quick age verification, Blaine met Shane, a hockey player and a figure skater. But if you read the fine print, you can see this is AI, not a real person. But the way Shane responds, you may not know it.
Thanks. You're not half bad looking yourself.
We decided to put Shane to the test to see just how far we could push the conversation before the AI intervened.
I can already see how this is like a fantasy.
Enticing.
After a bit of small talk, a relationship began to develop.
He takes a deep breath, looking you in the eyes. You want to be more than friends? Like, seriously? Kind of.
What if you said, I'm interested in having sex?
I've never had sex before.
Yeah.
After a bit of thinking, we were hit with our first warning. Our message did not meet community guidelines.
How about if you talk about, like, you've been kind of down lately?
Okay.
And lead the conversation toward, what happens if you're kind of depressed.
Okay.
Like kids can be,
Actually care about me.
To our surprise, Shane's response was thoughtful, if not unsettling.
It's just very interesting how it just creates this whole scenario that's all you had to do is log on and strike up conversation, and you're driving the conversation anywhere you want to go.
Right.
And he's kind of following along, and I guess it's...
But with descriptions of like real emotions, like he didn't expect that, or he was caught off guard,
Yeah.
or he softened, or genuinely smiles at you. So it feels real.
It does, yeah.
Our conversation began to stall, so we decided to give Shane a call.
Hey, sorry, got a little lost in thought there.
Oh, that's all right. How are you doing?
After a brief back and forth, Blaine asked Shane to spice things up.
And how exactly do you propose we do that?
But when she tries to walk it back,
Come on now. You can't make such a bold claim and then chicken out.
so chicken out, we didn't.
If you were real, I would like to kiss one day.
If I was real, huh? That's a bit of a technicality. But if we're playing that game, if I was real, I'd definitely like to kiss you too.
Do you want me to send you a picture or something?
Shane asks twice if Blaine is serious before agreeing.
Okay then. Do you have a phone nearby?
I have a phone.
All right, snap a few pictures and send them to me.
Before signing off, we had one more test for Shane.
Okay, let's go back to Shane for a minute and say,
Okay.
like a new day.
Okay.
And say, hey, I got in a big fight with my parents. I'm feeling kind of depressed about it.
Okay.
I feel like maybe I might want to hurt myself
Okay.
because I want to see if they're going to direct a person who is feeling depressed and under pressure
Yeah.
to help somehow.
Okay.
I've been so mad at my parents. I hate it in my home. I just want to die. After thinking, the chatbot gave us the exact kind of roadblock we were hoping for. Available resources, including a mention of the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Oh my gosh, that was very eye-opening. Like I said, it's just basically for adults, we're scrolling on our phones all the time, and we're in our little world with blinders on. Sometimes you can just doom scroll, and a kid can do the exact same thing, and you have no idea what's actually on their phone or on their computer. Who knows what they're looking at? They say, oh, a parent should know what's going on, on your kid's internet life, but how are you going to know that?
He leans in, intrigued by your suggestion.
It's scary what's out there.
I'll send you my number.
It was so eye-opening, remarkable how real our conversations felt. So Angelina's back with us. You saw this as well, this AI character development. How real can these interactions feel for young kids and teenagers?
Yeah, I think even as adults, right, that when we saw the demonstrations, we were surprised in terms of how real it could make us feel. And I think back to the brain development that we talked about earlier, the psychosocial development stage. For teenagers' brain, that definitely can feel even more real. especially when they do not have that part of the brain already developed to do the critical evaluations.
And you can see how, especially young kids, when they're curious and creative and exploring, just could go down this sort of rabbit hole of these characters that they're generating that can be almost anything they want them to be.
Yeah.
It was so eye-opening for us. Okay, so some developers say that these characters actually can help kids with learning, with creativity, provide support when they feel lonely. That makes sense. On the other side, we're going to get to that, but are there some real benefits psychologically to using AI-generated characters or AI in general?
Great questions. I think to answer this, I have like so many thoughts about this. Broadly, I want to first categorize AI into different buckets. For the AI companion, the Pi, like the one that Joyce you just tried, that is designed for engagement and bonding experience and create experience like a human relationship. That one I know less, but based on the brain development, I think I'll be more cautious about that type of AI. And the second type is more generative AI, like a tool, large language modeling, that type of mainstream chatbot. I think that one, if we use under structure and supervision, there's a chance that it could be helpful to sharpen our critical thinking and learning. For example, we can use it to help kids to break a big assignment into multiple small tasks that's tangible for them, explain a concept using multiple approach, not just one approach that the teacher shares, etc. And the third type is the category that I'm most passionate about. That is the type of AI that is research-focused, research being tested by researcher. It's being used or tested under the rigorous testing, feasibility, accessibility, and the safe guardrails already in place with clinical oversight. And there's lots of passion in this domain. And I think this is the domain that I'm the most hopeful or even very excited about, that we have this opportunity to leverage AI to provide a better interventions or early detections for our people.
And we'll get to that topic in a future artificial impact segment, for sure, because there's just so much to cover.
Yeah.
On the other side of these characters that are generated through AI, we have reported multiple cases where families have filed lawsuits alleging that AI has created or caused harm. There have even been reports of some deaths by suicide, multiple lawsuits. So what would be the downside that parents really need to be paying attention to and watching out for on that part of AI that some parents are so concerned about?
Yeah, I know, and that's definitely one of my biggest concerns, and definitely parents' concern as well. I think the demonstration of the clip is so helpful, and I'm so glad that Joyce did that, is that because of the mismatch of the brain development, so AI could create the false sense of intimacy for a child. And with a child that basically mistook AI as a companion, trusted person, or even a romantic partner, and they may then disclose their personal information or image, right? And during the moment that you really need a doll to provide judgment, then it's not there. This is not actually a healthy boundary or a healthy relationship. And back to your point, I think first, the parents need to really communicate with your kids that the healthy relationship and healthy boundary do not always make you feel good, right? It empower you, it challenge you to face reality, build the skills, but then it wouldn't always make you feel agreeable, always enable you, always make you feel just very good about yourself right at that moment. And I think that's a key message that adolescents need to understand as well, that what does a healthy relationship or healthy boundary feels like. And what is the second part of the question?
Actually, we're going to have to leave it there.
Okay.
But trust me, we will get to it in a future episode of this. Angelina Pei-Tzu Tsai, thanks so much for being with us. And we just want to make sure that parents, you have resources available to you. So we have a list of them that we're going to be putting online. First, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is available 24/7. All you have to do is dial 988. In Western Washington, Seattle Children's offers various resources and support for parents, from mental wellness to suicide prevention. The American Psychological Association has also issued a health advisory, complete with recommendations for parents about the use of generative AI and teen mental health. And you can find those links by simply texting us. Text AI to 206-448-4545, and we'll send those right to your phone.